Welcome to Tech Talk, y'all.
Hi, and welcome to Tech Talk, y'all, episode 381, brought to you by Edgewise.Media. I'm Adam Walker.
And I'm Sanjay Parekh.
I almost forgot the Edgewise.Media part.
I know. I was like, you're going to miss it.
Well, you've been doing that new thing, and I was like, oh, crap, there's something that's supposed to be here. Let my brain pause for a minute, and the neurons fire, and then I'll figure it out. So I did. I figured it out. I got there.
We listeners, we haven't gotten completely organized here and added them into our show notes, which is why Adam forgot it, because I've been just ad-libbing it up until now. So.
I'm known for being just so organized all the time, man. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
You're definitely a lot more organized than me.
I'm not sure. I don't think that's true at all. Oh man, but it's good to be here. We got a lot of like really interesting articles today, and kind of a big diversity of articles. Like how often on Tech Talk y'all are going to talk about the Pope, and we have like several Pope related articles. I mean, you have to this week, really. I think it's
right. One's in Weird and Wacky, but the rest are in the main.
It's not often you get a new leader for like what was it, like 1.2 billion people, like that.
I think it's 1.4 billion.
Well, yeah, it's pretty rare that there's a human that has leadership over. I mean, I guess that's the only real time that ever happens is the Pope. Like that's the one, right? Like is there anyone else that has that level of leadership over that many people?
China and India have more people than that. Right?
Okay, that's a great point. So I don't know my geography or population maps. So that's a great point. I lose. So there you go. So there's
big countries.
There's a handful of people. It's a small handful.
Is one of three.
One of a few.
Yeah,
okay, I got you. All right.
Of that many people.
Got it.
So
all right, well, there we go.
And worldwide. So that's I guess the different thing.
That's true. It is. It's a global thing. Yeah.
But now the Pope is not going to be able to use a tool that they could have used just a few days ago to contact people, which is Skype.
Yeah.
RIP Skype. We actually talked about this a while back that this day was coming.
Yeah.
And the day has now passed. So
and so has Skype.
So is Skype. So a moment of silence for Skype. Well, there you go. There's a lot better things to use now than Skype. So that's probably why it's called.
What amazes me about Skype is this, right? So because I think we often think about like markets and businesses, and we think about this like early mover advantage. And like, if you're the first one, then you own it. You win, like Coca-Cola, you win. But that clearly was not the case with Skype. I mean, they won and then somehow lost. Like if you think it's boggling, it's mind boggling.
They stagnated, right? I mean, you actually make a really good point. If you look at Coke, they have continued to innovate.
Yeah.
All the time. I don't know, how old are they? They're over 100 years old, right?
Pretty old,
They're we should know this. We're Atlantans, but but Skype, on the other hand, it had that first mover advantage, had all the innovation.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably still remember the sound, right?
Oh yeah.
So do I. And so they had all of that, and then I think they were acquired by Microsoft.
Yeah.
And
they stagnated before that, though. They were acquired by eBay, and then they went. What's crazy to me is they were acquired by eBay for like $2.5 billion, I think. Then they sort of stagnated, and then they got bought by private equity for like 1.5. So eBay took a loss of $1 billion, but then they were acquired by Microsoft for like 8.5 billion after that, which is like, what is even happening here? And then they just did Microsoft like roll some of that technology into Teams? Maybe, I don't know what happened, but it's shocking to me.
That explains why Teams is so bad, because
you're not kidding, man. It continues to befuddle me how bad Teams is compared to other platforms. But
I feel like that platform, this was not meant to be a Microsoft bashing session, but
it pretty much always is for me.
I feel like that product needs to basically be shut down and just rewritten.
Just rebuild the whole thing.
Just rebuild it from scratch.
Yeah.
I know that is not a practice that developers will tell you should ever do. You should not basically refactor your entire code base.
Yeah.
But in some instances, definitely needed.
I think they need a new team of user experience designers is really what I think, because man, that's a bad one. But anyway, that's okay. Moving on, Meta threatens to cut off Facebook in Nigeria over huge fines. So apparently I think they're fining them like $250 million, something like that. Yeah. And they're like, no, we're just going to shut down Facebook and Instagram for the whole country. They didn't mention WhatsApp, shutting that down, I guess. So maybe that's good that they didn't mention that, but but this
could be a huge huge issue for the country of Nigeria because a lot of commerce is done on Facebook. You think of Facebook Marketplace and communication, all this stuff. And I think this story really does highlight some of the things that not just society, but governments in general need to really think about in terms of these platforms, right? They become very useful and very valuable as they grow very large.
Right.
But then they become very dangerous because now they are very large and they are very, society ends up depending on them so much. So I don't know what the right answer here is in all of this. A part of me feels like, yeah, you know what, Nigeria, you should let them cut you off from Facebook because then it'll create this opportunity. Yes, it'll be chaotic for a period of time, but it creates this opportunity for new platforms to arise that will fill in that void. I don't know who needs who more here at this point. I kind of feel like Facebook Meta needs countries like Nigeria more than countries like Nigeria need Facebook and Meta.
It depends on the percentage of the user base though, right? You'd have to know like what percentage of users are in that specific country. My guess is it's a small percentage. And therefore it wouldn't take a big hit, but I don't know. I assume they've done that cost analysis when they said we're going to shut down the whole thing.
You don't think Meta would take a big hit? Is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I think it'd be bad for them from a PR perspective, but I think that would blow over relatively shortly, and then it is what it is. I think Nigeria is probably going to take the loss.
I think the thing that it sends is it sends a message.
Yeah,
and it kind of emboldens other countries to be like, no, you know what, this is not right either. And if they're able to stand up and walk away from this, then we can do it too.
Yeah.
And then I think it makes Meta's this is almost blackmail, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Very much so, yes.
It makes that whole situation very tenuous and very questionable if Meta can keep doing that to other countries.
Wait, is it blackmail? It's not blackmail. It's like hostage. Isn't it more like hostage?
I guess it's not blackmail.
I feel like No, I got you though. Yeah, it's
I don't know.
I forget I've got the term. It's so close, and I can't. Anyway, that's fine. Keep going. We'll hit the next.
It's a standoff.
Yeah.
It's like the standoff that happened in The Office when the three of them. There's only two of them.
Yeah. That was a great scene.
Yeah. Pam, really? There you go. In other Facebook news, Facebook allegedly detected when teen girls deleted selfies so it could serve them beauty ads. This is the reason why countries like Nigeria should dump Facebook. This is awful.
Yeah, this is a part of a tell-all book from somebody that was at Facebook for, I think it was 6 years and got pretty high up in their communications department. I think it was a VP level. And this is what she's claiming. Now, Facebook's put a lot of money behind trying to get this book shut down and not promoted. And they've of course denied these claims. So we'll say that. But in general, I think we know that these ad algorithms do prey on vulnerable people that are vulnerable. We've seen that, right? So I don't think this is shocking news at all. I think what it does remind me is that to your point that you've said many times, if it's free, you're the product, and we're very much the product here, and they're making money off of us.
Yeah, so. And they're trying to figure out more and more ways to monetize you as a part of the product. I don't know about you. I don't spend nearly any time on Facebook anymore.
I don't. I've actually. So it's been interesting. I've dialed down. I almost never am on Facebook. I'm almost never on Instagram. I do post there a good bit, but that's all kind of automated stuff. I'm less and less on TikTok also. And I try to spend more time on LinkedIn. I find LinkedIn, the conversations are just more reasonable. A lot of the people that I have, Facebook is kind of like all the people that I knew in my teens and 20s and all the family people. And then LinkedIn is kind of like all the people that I met sort of in my 30s and 40s. And I find myself gravitating towards that group of people more than the teens and 20s people. And so I do tend to like LinkedIn a good bit. So, but I am also trying some new apps to kind of do to kind of replace doom scrolling with micro learning. So I'll be sharing more about that down the road with some tech recs. But for now, I'll just leave that teaser out there.
I'm with you. I like LinkedIn. I've been posting. I actually had a blog post recently. And posted it on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you
as well.
did. I saw it.
Yeah, I've got a few more in the hopper as well.
Okay.
I've got one that I want to talk about, that gift wrapping paper excursion that I did that was disastrous in the end of it, and the lessons learned from that. It was really fun, actually. But anyways, I think
I still have a roll of that somewhere around my house. So
do you still have a roll of it?
I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, I don't think we used it. I loved it. It was great, but I don't think we used all of it. Yeah,
I have multiple rolls of it, so don't you worry about that.
You got me covered when I run out. I got it. Yes.
Of both versions that we did.
Yes.
Diwali and Hanukkah. I have both. So, anyways, I think I agree with you. Like, LinkedIn is really a place where, and it's funny, we're talking about this because we were just bashing on Microsoft a minute ago.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is a Microsoft product.
It's my favorite Microsoft product after the Xbox. Like, I love the Xbox and I love LinkedIn. Everything else Microsoft I hate. I hate all their Office suite, but man, I love those two items. So
I mean, I like GitHub as well. GitHub is also a Microsoft product.
Dadgummit. I have to add that to the list.
But LinkedIn, I do have to say, this is kind of a diversion here. Like, the little games that they built in there.
I haven't played those in a while. Are they still there? Because they were pretty fun.
So I hadn't played in a while either. And then I saw a new one and I was like, oh, let me give this a try. And it was, it's like this one where you have a box and you have numbers 1 through 9 and you have to connect them in a line that doesn't cross. And you got to do it as quickly as you can.
How do you get to those games? I can't ever remember how to get to them.
I don't know. Like, the only reason I saw it is it popped up in my notifications.
Yes.
Like, oh, this person played.
Right.
But there's no tab anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you get to I don't even know I don't remember how to get to it. Like, I'm going to have to Google how to get to LinkedIn games. Like, that's, again, back to that user experience. Like, come on, man.
But I kind of feel like that's intentional a little bit.
Really?
Like, they're trying to, they're
trying to mess with you, like make it hard,
clog up the UI, and only the people that are hardcore into it are going to go and find it.
Okay,
like
maybe.
Maybe.
All right.
So yeah,
fine.
Talking about people who are hardcore into something, but now they can't use it for a bit. How cardinals are using social media ahead of the papal conclave, which is, by the way, now done.
It's complete.
The papal conclave,
which we should talk about. Like, we got our first U.S. Pope, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
like,
American Popey.
Yeah, he doesn't look very popish to me. Like, I don't know what look a pope's supposed to have, but he looks a little more like college professorial to me than popish to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I don't know.
That's a good thing.
I don't know what it is about his facial structure. I see college professor. That's all I see. So that's fine.
Well,
whatever.
let me read this other story, then let's talk about the Pope for a little bit. Also, Vatican to cut phone signal during conclave to elect new pope because they didn't want any of these cardinals to
using social media.
Social media. I think they actually all turned their phones in though.
Before
they went.
I'm sure they did. Yeah, for sure.
And so which it's super interesting.
I would like to see a photo of the Sistine Chapel with them in there because, like, it was so dark.
There was videos of it. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
Okay, because it's so dark. Before they closed
the doors, before they said that Latin word, and now, Latin, but it was basically everybody get out.
And is it like, are they all like seated along the edge? Or they like bring chairs in? Like, what? Like,
there's tables everywhere. So this is the largest college.
Yeah, it was the largest one. College of Cardinals. Yeah, right.
Ever, because they've elected so many new cardinals under Pope Francis that they were like stacked up in there. But every pope, every cardinal had a assigned seat and this whole thing. But yeah, there was an open area in the middle, and the tables were all on the sides, kind of lined up. So you've been there recently. I've been there recently. And you're right. Like, when you go there, it's just swarms of people.
But it's so dark in there too. Like surprisingly, it's like, it doesn't, I feel like when they're like meeting to, like, in my mind, I feel like there should be sunlight coming into the room, and like, there ain't no sunlight in there. Like, that's,
I'm sure they bring in some lights or something. I didn't actually notice that in the videos. But I will say, I read an article. I did not tag it for this because it's not really tech, but apparently, I forgot this guy's name. Pope it's Leo the 14th, but it's what's his real name? Robert.
I have no idea. I call him Bobby. If his name's Robert, I'm gonna call him Bobby.
I think it's Cardinal Bobby. He apparently was talking to his brother before the conclave, and his brother was like, "It could be you." And the new pope was like, "Nah, there's no way." And sure enough,
interesting.
Day 2.
Huh.
So he was walking into it humble.
Yeah, like day 2 is pretty short, if I remember correctly. It feels like it took a lot longer for the last one.
So the last 3 have all been on the second day.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
think it was Pope John Paul.
Oh,
That
okay.
was like the third or fourth day or something like that.
Got it. Yeah.
It's been a while. So they've all come to like a conclusion very quickly. So
all right.
I guess it's a good thing.
Well, speaking of coming to conclusions quickly, OpenAI says nonprofit will retain control of company, bowing to outside pressure. So, but essentially, like the nonprofit owns the LLC that's now being converted from an LLC into a
public benefit corporation.
Yeah, public benefit corporation. But other people will still own shares of the public benefit corporation, which is still a for-profit company. Yeah. So somebody, and it's worth what, $300 billion? Is that what that, like? So somebody's still getting ultra rich from this. It's just that there's also going to be a ton of money owned by the nonprofit itself.
Right.
That will then get, I'm assuming, based on its mission, will then fund other AI projects or whatever else. So, okay, whatever. I don't think this is that big of a deal.
Also, Microsoft comes into play again in this story.
Yeah.
This is not a done deal because Microsoft is the only one that has not agreed to these terms. And they have put in like a lot of money. It's
lots
like
of money.
Yeah. $15-20 billion. And they're like, hey, we want to make sure we don't get hosed with our investment.
Which, I mean, that deal still doesn't make that much sense to me. Cause like, I guess they're investing in OpenAI so they don't have to build their own, and then they're using OpenAI to power their own stuff.
Well, like GitHub Copilot uses OpenAI.
All right, that makes
right?
sense. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, exactly that. It was basically a way for them to just leapfrog into advanced AI stuff without having to build it themselves. Which
fun.
Makes sense. And I wonder if this does mean at some point down the line, does Microsoft go, forget it, we're just going to buy the whole thing?
Yeah, but you can't buy the whole thing because part of it's owned by a nonprofit. Like that's the problem, right?
But you could buy their shares.
You could buy their shares and then the money goes into the nonprofit. Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think this is a sneaky little way of Sam Altman being able to take the company public without taking the company public. Or converting it into a private company,
right?
Outside of the nonprofit, because there was all this kind of hoo-ha, and the attorney generals of California and Delaware had issues with it. Elon Musk had issues with it because he didn't want to have to compete.
I think there's still litigation for that. I mean, he's still trying to compete against it. Yeah. So that's crazy.
We'll see what happens, but things are changing, I suppose. Talking about things changing. The Signal clone that Trump administration used was hacked. And then also messaging app used by Trump officials suspends operation after reported hack. And actually there's been 2 hacks now.
Listen,
not just one.
Here's the thing, man. When I think national security, when I think encrypted messenger, the first thing I think of is let's use an off-brand app for that. That's just and actually, here's one more story that's related to all of this. Yeah.
Despite misleading marketing, Israeli company Telemessage used by Trump officials can access Plaintext chat logs. By the way, Plaintext, that's not double encrypted, end-to-end encrypted. In case you didn't realize that, listeners.
So listen, when I think national security, when I think encrypted messaging, I also think let's go with something owned by another country that's an ally, granted. But I don't remember. I don't know who owns Signal, so that could be a bad move there. But I'm just
they're like profit, but they're based here in the U.S.
Off-brand, man, off-brand. Like really, like that's really.
And our allies spy on us just as we do on our allies as well. Like
just like I spy on my neighbor, he spies on me. We're friends, just like that. It's just, wait, that's not what you meant.
That wasn't exactly what I meant. But now I'm interested as how are you spying on your neighbor?
It involves a lot of drone flying and camera footage that I set up in feeds.
Have you gone to the side of his house and tapped into his internet as well? Something in right there.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Are you getting all of his chat logs in plain text, not encrypted?
I can neither confirm nor deny. So anyway.
Hey, Fred, here's a DNS server you should use. Wink, wink. Here's also a proxy server you should use. It'll make you safer.
It'll make you. It'll increase your internet speeds. I got you covered, man.
Trust me. I have this podcast, Tech Talk, y'all. I know what I'm talking about.
I like that you went with Fred. Was that an I Love Lucy reference? Fred, was Lucy Ricky's neighbor? Was that?
Yeah.
What that is?
Those are your neighbors, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. So except not
because
at
you
all,
live in the 60s or 50s.
I mean, my hat certainly does. I don't know about the rest of me, but my hat, it's a direct descendant from that era for sure.
That seems like a Ricky Ricardo hat, actually.
It's a very Ricky. They wore a lot of fedoras in that show. It's such a good show. So a lot of fedoras. Love the fedoras in that show. So
like
anyway,
80% of our listeners are like, what show are they?
What is even
about?
What's a fedora? What is happening right now? 80%?
They didn't even mention the main character, Lucy.
Oh, that's true. All right, next up, I think this is the next one up, and it's my turn. Let's see. Say goodbye to traditional returns. Walmart, Amazon, and Target will refund your money without asking for the product back. And I read this and I was like, no way. And then I read the rationale behind it and I was like, yeah, that actually makes a ton of sense.
Have you not had this happen to you?
I think maybe once, but very rarely have I had it happen.
We have had it happen at least a handful of times.
Yeah.
And it's kind of annoying, actually.
Yeah, because then you got to do something with it, right?
Right.
But you got to drop it off at Goodwill instead of dropping it off the UPS store. So, like, who cares?
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh, now I got to go deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's like, you don't want to throw it in the trash because that just feels so wasteful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because most of the times
it's brand new.
There's nothing wrong with the product.
It's just not what you wanted or not what you needed or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and so our listeners that didn't read this article, so the rationale behind it is if you buy, let's say, I think the example they give in the article is if you buy a $12 packet of socks and you want to send that back, well, it's going to cost Amazon $8 to get those socks back. Then they have to have a physical person grab those socks and make sure that they're resellable and then put them back into the whatever the queue is to resell them. And so by the time all that's done, it costs Amazon more money than just letting the socks go for free. And so, that makes great business sense. But now you have a pair of ugly socks that you don't want. And you have to go donate to Goodwill, which I guess is good for the Goodwill folks,
Yeah. And here's the thing. Before you start running out and starting to buy things on Amazon that are cheap, thinking that you're just going to return them all and
get it for free.
Let you keep it all for free.
Yeah.
Because they have algorithms to figure this stuff out if you're trying to do that.
Right.
If you're legit returns, they'll be like, okay, every now and again. Like we haven't gotten in on everything.
For sure.
There's a lot of cheap stuff that we've ended up dropping back off. And we actually do now the runs. We don't go to UPS. We just go to Whole Foods. And it's much easier there to drop off. Like you don't have to box up anything. You just give them the QR codes. And
listen, I'm not highfalutin enough to live near a Whole Foods like some people are. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, you can do this. You can actually do it at UPS as well, where you don't have to box up the stuff. You just have to show the QR codes.
Yeah, I've done
which
that.
I think is great as well. But we have a Whole Foods that's not far from our house, so we're driving by it all the time, anyways.
Show off.
So. It's not my fault that you want to live, in another state from Atlanta. Like that's.
Listen, man, we live in the same county. Okay,
I know we do,
and that county is freaking huge.
That's why I thought it was pretty.
And
funny.
It takes me like 35 minutes to get to your house, and we're not even on the edges of the county. It's like, what the heck, man? So
it is crazy. Atlanta is a crazy place,
it's a huge
especially
county
with our counties.
Especially
when you see some other counties that are super tiny. It's like, why could we not even all of this stuff out? Like,
this is for real. Let's make it standard.
But something else that we're evening out, and it's not going to be good, and you're going to want to return things now back to Amazon because you're not going to know beforehand, is the EPA plans to shut down the Energy Star program. So this is that program where, the blue stickers are on devices that tell you that, hey, this product uses less energy than other devices of the same class. That program is going to be gone and shut down. This program, by the way, has saved U.S. consumers. I think the article said like $500 billion or something like that.
Dang.
In energy cost over the time that it's been running. Maybe it's 500 million. I don't know. It was a 500 something. It was a big number.
Yeah.
It was more money
than million. They're similar. It's cool. Whatever.
I'm going to actually open up the article so that we're not.
I guess my question is like, why? Why are they shutting this down? We don't know. We don't.
Because they hate all things. I don't know.
My other question is, does this program, do the stickers really influence behavior? Like, I don't know that it's influenced my behavior or not. Does it influence your buyer behavior?
So I don't think so.
Okay.
But what I think it has done is it has helped driven appliance makers to do things to make products that save energy because you don't want to be the one that stands out that doesn't have a blue sticker on
That's
it,
fair.
right?
Yeah.
Because I think if you go and you look at like fridges, let's say, all of them have the blue stickers basically.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like, it doesn't really matter now. It's table stakes at this point. And by the way, I was right. It's $500 billion in energy costs and tax rebates since 1992.
It's a good thing. It would have been embarrassing if it was million.
I know.
Like, oh my
I know,
gosh,
exactly.
whatever,
that's why I had to double check it.
So embarrassing.
But so here's the thing. I don't know if, appliance makers are going to continue worrying about this.
Yeah.
Because if it's not obvious to the consumer that one appliance over another is using more or less energy, which really like the cost of having that appliance then is a lot higher, more than the sticker price there of buying the appliance. I think that's a bad thing for consumers. So maybe somebody else will step into it. Maybe Underwriters Labs or, somebody else like that will be like, hey, this is an opportunity for us to do this. But I think it's a shame. And, it is what it is.
A good thing for consumers. FTC bans hidden fees for live events and short-term rentals effective May the 12th. So
next week.
You're welcome. Well, and in short-term rentals, is that like Airbnb short-term rentals? Like,
I think that's Airbnb and things like that.
So like no more hidden, like this, the price you see, you're not going to get to check out and they're going to add like all these crazy fees and all this garbage at the end. It's like the price you see is the price you're going to pay. And honestly, like, it's dumb that we don't do that as a cult. Like other countries do that with taxes even and everything.
I know.
Like it's so dumb that we don't just do all that as a culture. Like
I find it irritating.
It's very irritating.
Like when you go to other countries and it's like, oh, this is $10 or 10 euros or whatever it is. And it's like you go to buy it and it's still 10 euros.
Yeah.
There's no like, by the way, there's 6% tax on that.
Yeah. It's like, so no, it's just 10 euros. It's already factored in.
It's all built in.
Yeah.
The one thing that is not covered by this is the things that you buy that are optional. So if you think about airline tickets and at the end, like I'm thinking about when I buy Delta tickets, at the end, it gives you the option to buy trip insurance and things like that.
Right.
Like those are optional things. Yeah. So those are not covered by this.
Right.
Because it's really up to you if you want to buy them or not. So it's not a hidden fee. It gets kind of just added in at the end. But I think this will be good because I think it'll make it easier for people to understand what things actually cost.
Yeah.
But to your point, can somebody do something about like everything else?
The taxes, please. But like, then listen,
even
if we do
restaurants,
that,
like I'd love for the restaurants to have like, this is the price and it's all in. Like
it's a slippery slope, Sanjay, because if you're going to make it simple where I can go buy an ice cream cone for $3 and it's actually $3 when I pay for that ice cream. I don't know why ice cream cone's my example. Forgive me. I don't know what's happening. But if that's
it's springtime here in Atlanta, so you're like, I gotta get it.
If that's the goal, then there's a slippery slope there because then what about like income taxes? Like to your point, every other country in the world or most countries, modern countries, it's very simple.
Yep.
They send you in this is how much you owe, or this is how much we took out, or whatever. Like,
right.
Can we let's simplify that? Like so many things we can simplify.
I would love that too, but I'm just trying to get something that we can maybe actually get.
That's fair.
Since we got this.
I will say this.
It'd be nice.
I'd be willing to bet that if two retailers are identical, right, in what they sell, but one retailer has a price on their website that factors in the tax and the other doesn't, I bet the one that factors in the tax is going to do better. That's all I'm saying. I think it'll make customers happy.
I don't know. I think human behavior is like, and psychology is just bad around this. Like, I think people will look like, oh, this one is this price and this one is that price.
This one's 6% more. I'm going to go with
at the end, they'll be like,
which is why they don't do it.
Why is it more? And then they won't go back and look or whatever. This is the same reason why when you go to buy gas, right? It's $2.49, but no, it's not $2.49.9 cents.
Yeah.
Right. Like you don't notice the little extra.
Yeah. The 0.9. Yeah. They're really messing you up. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, well.
Fraction of a cent.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That extra tenth of a penny you're saving on the gas or whatever. So.
Time for the Weird and Wacky segment.
Abominable snowman.
He's not an axe murderer. One of the TAs turned out to be a bot.
First up in Weird and Wacky, the company that will not die.
Man, I'm telling you what.
Is back. It explores a daily fantasy platform for film buffs. And I read this story and said, who cares?
This doesn't make, I don't,
makes no
I read the
sense.
story.
I don't understand.
But it doesn't make sense. Like, so the idea is that it's like fantasy football, but for actors, but like,
Right.
with fantasy football, like players go and play. There's a measurable thing that they do. They run yards, they complete passes, they score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like what daily things do actors do that can be measured that would play into a fantasy actors system?
I mean, so it's not daily, but they do sign contracts for things.
But not even weekly. But they talked about this being weekly contests, like short-term weekly. So like I'm gonna be a movie director in this thing, and I'm gonna pick Angelina Jolie for my movie, and then she's gonna sign like what, 2 contracts a year? Okay, it just seems so weird to me.
It does, yeah.
I can't. I mean, and their argument for it was, well, think about the number of movie stars names that people know versus the number of professional sports players people know. And like, okay, that's a great argument. But no one tracks stats related to a movie star. No one cares about stats related to a movie star. But people meticulously track stats related to sports figures. Right? Yeah. They know how many points they put down the last game. They know number of rebounds and all the stuff. But it befuddles me that this move makes, like every other move this company's made, this makes no sense to me at all.
I mean, if you're an avid player of the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, maybe you know like a lot of that stuff, right? Like what movies, especially the movies that Kevin Bacon.
Does that still apply now? Like Kevin Bacon has been, I mean, he's still in things, but less and less things over years, right? Like, are there still 6 Degrees always? Like,
I mean, I think so. I think
okay, all right. For example,
he didn't pass away yet, right?
No. But like for example, like newer actors like Zendaya. Like, can you connect Zendaya to Kevin Bacon in 6 Degrees? Like, is that?
I'm sure you can.
Okay, I mean, I can't for sure. I know for sure I can't do that. But okay, I'm sure one of our listeners will probably do it for us, and that'd be great.
There's actually a website that does this for you.
Okay.
And I'm going to pull it up while you go on to the next one. And then so you want to know Zendaya.
I want to know Zendaya to Kevin Bacon. That's what I want to know. And and I'll announce this next one that I don't understand because I'm not an Android user. So this is going to make no sense to me personally, but whatever. So Google is finally building its own DEX or DEX. I don't know how you pronounce it. First look at Android's desktop mode. So this is a desktop mode on an Android phone. So you like pull up make it look like a miniature desktop and like use a mouse and keyboard with your phone.
Mouse and keyboard. Yeah. So Samsung actually had this out for just Samsung devices before.
Yeah. Right.
But now Google is doing a version that is going to get rolled into Android. So you could basically have a full-fledged desktop. And really, this makes probably much more sense with a tablet than a phone.
I would think so, yes.
But you can connect it to a external monitor as well using DeX. So you could actually use your phone for this.
Okay.
And get a full screen monitor display with keyboard and mouse. So if you're thinking like, hey, I'm going to go on a business trip and really I just need my phone, but sometimes I want to have a full screen experience. Like imagine if hotels were to outfit their little work area in your hotel room with a monitor, keyboard, mouse, and you could just dock your phone into that.
Right.
By the way, as I'm saying this, the security side of me is terrified for any of you to ever do this. So please never do this if this ever becomes a thing. Do not plug your phone into hardware that you do not control.
What are you talking about, dude? I like to find like basic devices and cables. I like to find cables like on the street in parking lots and just look, it's a free lightning cable. I'm going to use this for my phone. This is going to be great. That's all the time. Like, I mean, at least twice a day. That's what I do.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I come by your house and just sprinkle USB sticks in the lawn randomly all the time to see how many of you in your family will plug them into devices.
You know what you could do? What you would do is you'd hack my passwords. You get my Amazon password and then just buy like little things, like small things on a daily basis. And I would never notice because my daughter buys so many little rinky-dink things. I would never know. I would never have any. Like, that's the randomest thing in my orders list. Okay, I guess she ordered that. I don't even know. Whatever's happening. It would be, but then like one day I'd come along and I'd look at my Amazon list and be like, YubiKey. And I'd be like, wait a second, Sanjay's hacked me. What the heck? Like, that's how I'll know. So,
who's buying 50 YubiKeys in this house?
And then I'll be like, I'm returning those. And then I'll be like, free. No, that wouldn't be free. I wouldn't, for sure would not be the case. I'd want those bad boys back. For
$2,500 worth of YubiKeys here.
Yeah, that's a lot of YubiKey money. Yeah.
Hopefully somebody else doesn't want this back because they're retrofitting it. The Pope-mobile to become a health clinic for Gaza children. So this was apparently one of the last wishes of Pope Francis, that the Pope-mobile, the big white mobile that's got the big tilting shield to protect him from stuff.
But the sides are open, but there's like this dome over the top.
Right.
I'm like, so he's protected from snipers from two directions, but not any of the other directions.
So the original Pope-mobile that started this whole thing, it was a bubble.
Yeah, he didn't like that. He didn't like, because he wanted to be close to the people, right? So he didn't like, which I like that about it. Also, in this article, it mentioned, and I kind of thought this was kind of beautiful, that he talked to parishioners in Gaza like on a daily basis to check in on them and like
see how they were doing.
How they're like, that's kind of cool, man. Like, I was like, dude, I didn't know enough about that guy. He seemed like a good dude.
So they're retrofitting the Pope-mobile to become a health clinic for children.
Yeah.
It is stationed and ready to go, and it's waiting for the allowance by the Israeli government to allow this vehicle, and I'm sure other humanitarian aid, into Gaza. And when that happens, this vehicle will be used to treat the children there. So it's a very white vehicle, I gotta say. Like,
Well, I mean, the Pope's garb is white, right? He wears all white robes, and but it's like
blindingly white. That vehicle, like everything is white. Like it's sears into my eyeballs how white that is. So
that's so good.
Yeah, there you go. Good. And by the way, so Zendaya to Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, let's do it.
2 degrees.
What? No.
Zendaya was in Zapped with Andrew Herr.
Okay.
Did not see that movie.
Nope.
Who was in Story of a Girl with Kevin Bacon.
Dadgummit, man.
So if you want to play this game yourselves, here's a bonus tech rec for you listeners. oracleofbacon.org is the website you want to go to.
That's the greatest domain name ever.
Tech rec, time to get your tech rec.
Tech rec. Chicky.
Tech rec. Time to get your tech rec.
Okay, Adam, it is tech rec time. What do you have for us this week?
All right, so this is technology, but it's also apparel. So listen, there are, and I don't know if you experience this much, but this happens to me on a fairly regular basis. I'll be out like at a restaurant or some random place, and I get compliments on 2 items that I wear. Now, obviously, the first compliment I get is the hat. Like cool people. Like I sat down next to a dad the other day at a school event, and he looks over at me and goes, "Nice hat." And this guy had some style, right? So like that was cool. Now, the other item that I get compliments on a regular basis is my Tree Hut watch, and this is an inexpensive watch. I think the one I have is like $50 or something, but it's a watch made out of wood. And I cannot tell you how many people have commented on my, like strangers, like on an elevator. Like I've gotten into an elevator before and had somebody go, "Oh, I really like that watch." Like, what? like so rare. And it's just this super cool looking watch that's made out of wood. And my wife gave it to me for an anniversary present years ago. And she had it, it's not even engraved. It's like burned or like stamped or branded on the back is what it is. Like a little like, happy anniversary or whatever it is. And it's like one of my favorite items that I own. So I just thought I would recommend a cool watch to you listeners if you want a cool watch for anything coming up. So if any Father's Day gift items you're looking for, that's a good option. It's actually pretty cheap, honestly. So yeah.
That's a good accessory to your fedora hat there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's super unusual. Like it's an unusual looking watch, and I think that's why I get so many compliments on it. It's like it just looks different compared to, like, because everybody's wearing a metal watch, like that's just the common thing. So
yeah.
Anyway, all right, Sanjay, what do you have for us this week?
So I have something that's pretty simple and techie. It's a website, vert.sh. I don't know how you say it, but vert.sh. Basically, this is the file converter that you needed and that you will love. It is a open source tool, but you can convert everything but videos, and all the conversion is done in your browser. You can also do videos, but it uploads it to a server for those conversions to be done. So if you've got a JPEG and you need a GIF, or you've got a GIF and you need a PNG, you can go to this website and do that conversion. The conversion happens in your browser, so it's not uploaded anywhere. So it's private and safe.
Yeah.
But if you still don't trust it, you can go download the software and run it yourself. Obviously, it requires some technical skill to do that, but there you go. So oftentimes I need to convert from one thing to another. And right now, what I end up doing is I open either like XNView or I open up Photoshop to do that. And it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
And this is just simple. This works with documents as well. Like if you need to go from like something to something else, like docx to PDF or whatever. Like it does that.
I've used Adapter for years for basic stuff, but it doesn't do as much as what you just suggested. So that is very, very good to know.
Yeah. So it works with images, audio, documents, and video. Video is the only one that you can't do locally, but they've got a way to do it, I think, if you want to set it up, but it's a whole rigmarole. So
I love rigmaroles.
So there you go.
All right, Sanjay, how can our listeners find and connect with you?
They can find me on my website, sanjayparikh.com. What about you, Adam?
Go to my website at adamjwalker.com and also sign up for my newsletter there, because I'm going to be announcing a new project I'm working on that's completely insane, probably within the next week or two. So if you want to see what other insane thing I'm doing next, that's a good place to find out. So
and you can find both of us on LinkedIn too.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.